got 4 years contract left. But I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. Well, I had a funny feeling last year. I thought it'd be extremely hard last season. I think what happens is when you buy a couple of players, I think other players just tend to slacken off a little bit, because with Rude, Saba, Laurent Blanc, Roy Keane come in, and people just think we've got 3 or 4 new players, automatically they will maybe do the business or will help the team. But if and I said it last year that it'd make it even harder for us, and that's what it turned out to be, because we started sluggish. The players obviously were trying, but it was just not enough.
Old Trafford holds its breath, and Keano goes for goal, and it's in!
Bit of danger, oh! It's going to be Risa.
It was up to us for the team to try and become legends themselves, and I don't think we have done. You know, we've won a few trophies, but we've not really made our mark in Europe. I think for a few years we kind of expected it, so there was no shock that when he confirmed that he was going to leave. And some players then be thinking, oh, I've got to prove myself all over again to a new manager. To me, that's a great challenge, you know, especially when they were talking about one of the top foreign coaches coming in, you know, maybe a Capello, Lippi, Heinzfeld from Bayern Munich. To me, that would have been a great opportunity to work under a different manager, even though none of us wanted, obviously, Alex Ferguson to leave. But on the other hand, I think it just threw enough doubt into players' minds, you know.
Wes Kershaw went to see them play. He was a chief scout at the time, because we're playing Forest in 2 weeks' time. And he phoned me on the way back from the game and says, I've seen a player. Then 2 weeks later, he made his debut at Old Trafford.
And that's Roy Keane with the tight haircut.
And throughout the match, his persistence and courage was phenomenal. And I said, this is a player, you know, even though he annoyed me, you know.
Blackburn had been in touch over the season, they were desperate to sign you. And basically there was a lot of speculation, but they were the only club who was 100% sure wanted to sign me. But of course, again, they were doing things illegally, whatever you want to say.
We thought that Roy was aware of the fact that we'd been phoning Forest for years. You know, I think something like 2.5 years. Regularly trying to buy him.
He'd been ringing, and of course, but hadn't been given permission to speak to me, because Forest were pretty keen to sell me to Blackburn because they were obviously giving the most money. And cut long story short, I met Dalglish on the Friday evening, and we agreed a contract, to be fair. And I feel, you know, we shook hands on a contract. And of course, the talks were the Friday evening, and the club, the offices were closed that weekend, so I said I'd come back on a Monday and sign. And that Sunday I got a phone call from Alex Ferguson, and he said, look, I know you spoke to Blackburn. can you come to Manchester tomorrow just to speak to me? And I said, well, you know, I've kind of agreed to sign a contract with him. He said, you've not signed it? I mean, I went, no. He said, well, just come to Manchester tomorrow and give me a chance.
And I got him over in my house one day and we had a long chat, and he explained that he'd shaken hands with Keane REALLY, and that created a problem within, you know, for Roy in a way, because obviously he wanted to join United.
We just had a game of snooker and he did chat, and he didn't discuss contracts, which I think, he didn't discuss money, which I liked as well. He just spoke about the team, what I could bring to the team, what it would mean for him, for me to sign, and it was so genuine, you know what I mean? I'm not saying Blackburn weren't genuine. I felt bad for Blackburn as well, to be honest with you. I really did.
That thing wrestled in Roy's mind, and he phoned Keane REALLY straight away and said, look, you know, I've had change, Manchester United have come in, and that was it.
I don't think he ever forgave me for that. You know, he let me know in certain terms that when I said I was going to go to United. If it happened again tomorrow, you know, to be fair, you give a choice, Blackburn or Manchester United.
Manchester United are pleased to announce that we've finally signed Roy Keane this morning, and it is an English record transfer fee.
Getting in that team was a big challenge to me. I worked hard, you know, when I got to the club. And I was lucky when I came to the club. The United lads then, best lads you'll ever likely to meet. And they still are. I mean that, you know, obviously you have your fallouts with different players over the years, but great lads, great teammates to have. And that's what you want, you go on that pitch. You die for each other, and that team had it.
When we were trying to buy Roy Keane, we were always looking for the new Brian Robson. And he was the new Brian Robson, there's no question in my mind.
He's a tremendous player. He's got all different attributes. He's pretty good at most things that you've got to be good at on a football pitch. And that's why he's an all-round top-class player.
You think you can never get a captain as good as Brian Robson, but then Roy Keane comes along and look what he does for Man United and for the team.
Since the day I've signed for the club and today, I've never took my position in the team for granted. I think that's helped me in my career, without a doubt. You look at midfield now, we've got me, Butty, Scholes, Eva Ron, 4 players trying to get 2 positions. 4 into 2 doesn't go, so there's going to be 2 unhappy lads. But I have to make sure I'm not one of them lads. And I've got a big fear. I do not want to be a squad member. I'll have to accept sometimes I won't be in the team, but there's no way I'm going to accept being a squad member. I do not want to be sitting on that bench on a cold Wednesday night at Old Trafford.
First time I come across Keane was actually when he wasn't with United, when he was at Notts Forest, and we were playing them in a League Cup final at Wembley. And I remember
It was early on in the game, and I had the ball, and I think I just checked inside, and Keane just took my legs from under me. He swore at me or said something, and I just thought, who's this idiot here?
I've had so many arguments with Roy Keane, probably have one every day. I remember one game at Coventry when, you know, he squared up to me, and that was over me not crossing the ball first time.
If you do something wrong, you know Keane is the first person to tell you, and some people find that harsh, but you know, none of us do.
I'm sure I can be a pain in the backside to play with, but hopefully at the end of the day, when I train with the lads, I have arguments or discussions, whatever, hopefully they know, and I think they do, with my teammates, because people think I'm always giving them a stick, but I love my teammates, I do.
Well, it is fierce and it is personal, like when you're on the pitch, because he means it and you mean whatever you're saying back. But I think it helps you both concentrate on the game, and especially if you're in opposition and you see two players going at each other, teammates like that, I think you think, oh, these mean business, the winners.
There are moments when you just think to yourself, wish he'd, you know, go away. But the question is, I mean, people, do you want him in your team on a Saturday afternoon? And the answer is always yes.
They definitely do struggle, especially the foreigners.
You know, you think, oh, he's mean, hard, tough player, tackles, you know, you see the sending off, you see him screaming to the referee, to opponents, to colleagues, and you think, all right, well, you know, what is that all about?
Even with Yap, I remember Yap, even Jordi Cruyff, and even Ruud when he first came. And I think they find it strange that straight away after the match, I can chat to them and say, what are you doing now? And they're looking at me and saying, oh, is it forgotten about type of thing? And I've actually forgotten about it, I really have. Because it happens that much in a game. If I remembered every incident, I'd be talking to nobody. I've had my disagreements with Ruud, but at the end of the day, I respect him. I think he's a top player. And hopefully he knows that if he needs anything, then I tell him, just give me a shout and I'll help him out.
You start to realise what it's about. He just wants to improve the other player.
He wants to win. That's one thing about Roy. You know, he wants to win games. He doesn't care, you know, about anything else that's going on around him. Once he steps over that white line of the pitch, then that's all he thinks about doing.
I think it is his job as captain to get the best out of the team, get the best out of the individuals, and I think he does that.
People think, oh, I'm having to go to players. I know for a fact none of them listen to me anyway. I know they're looking at me and they're like, yeah, go on, Roy, you have your little tantrum. And then they forget about it. I know for a fact. And I think that makes me even more angry then, especially I think I've got a valid point there. And I'm like, are you doing that? And they're like, yeah, you're not even listening. Honestly, there's not a day go by when I don't think how lucky I am, you know. I work pretty hard, but I've been very lucky as well. And it's nice to have a nice holiday. It's important that you do spend time with your family. I think, like most books, I was convinced, to be honest, I'd never get married. And maybe have kids when I'm maybe 33, 34. But of course, things don't work out that way. And I've got 4 kids, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. I'm having a good time. Been here, this is our 2nd week now, and really enjoyable, nice to switch off. Back at work on Wednesday of next week, so looking forward to that as well, you know. There's obviously still a bit of devil in me. I think that tends to get me into trouble a little bit sometimes, you know, but people say it many times, children do give you a different outlook in life, you know, that whereas before football was my priority, and having a good night out was probably a close second, you know, or maybe that was the other way around. Maybe a good night out was priority and then football. But, you know, when you got your kids, they're very much your priority, and you do all you can to make them happy. Like this holiday, they're having a great time, but that's what it's all about.
Yeah, the good traffic on it that way.
He looks a decent guy, that fella.
Oh yeah, sorry, one of the players, we usually park just around the back. Is that okay? Because I'm going to be late as it is.
Do you have a car parking permit?
No, I'm one of the players. They don't usually give you a permit.
Right.
So I'm one of the players.
Any of these roads?
No, I'm not. No, I'm going to the ground.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
He recognised you, but where does he come from? He's a rugby league fan.
When we played Middlesbrough away in the cup, I remember it was a funny day. You know, the pitch was dry, the ground was half empty because of the fact they gave United very few tickets because of the year before. I think there was a bit of trouble there. I think the players were looking for a good run, and last year as well we were thinking it was our manager's last season, so it'd be nice to get to a cup final for him. I think it just summed up our whole season. We were just very slack on the day and we got punished, and before you know it you're already FA Cup.
They know what they have to do. They take the field here at West Ham, knowing they have to pit Blackburn to win their third title in as many years.
Towards the end, we'll start assessing the qualities in relation to the players round about, i.e. who is the influences in the midfield.
Tries the shot. Oh, what a goal!
Paul Inson was a fantastic player for us, and in the year we won the double in '94, the two of them together were quite powerful, and then in the next season I thought Roy was starting to outshine Paul in many ways. He was starting to develop himself as a player, he was starting to blossom and come to maturity, and we felt that he was going to be the big influence in the club.
There's three major players that went, you know, Mark Hughes, Andrei Kanchelskis and Ince. You know, when three major players leave like that, you know, the manager knew what he was doing at the time. You know, it was just one of them sort of moments that, you know, the younger players like me and Gary and Nicky Barton-Scholes, who were probably looking at the team and thinking, you know, we're never going to get in this team. And then all of a sudden, you know, the gap opened up and, you know, we was brought in, and lucky enough the manager sort of had faith in us.
I think the transfer of Paulins is disgusting.
I think it's a terrible decision. He's got all this money to spend on the new stand. He's not even going to have, you know, the fans to go in there next season.
It's good news. I think every Liverpool fan's happy today.
I think when the manager got rid of Ince and Kanchelskis, they were saying the manager's mad. So what's he doing? He can't be getting rid of these players. But of course he knew, because he sees the players day in, day out.
You cannot allow a team to grow together. Manchester United had gone behind other clubs in terms of getting the best young players, which this club was famous for. All the staff at the club worked really hard in terms of trying to attract the best young players to the club. We used to have trials all the time, and we had boys from everywhere. The scouts were working their socks off to get the best young kids.
There's a lot of excitement to be at the club, but as you said, on the other hand, there's players you're thinking, well, these lads are looking for my position.
We had so much admiration and respect for these players. You know, we'd do anything for them. You know, I used to clean Brian Robson's boots. you know, and that was my claim to fame when I joined the club.
I want to stay at this club. That was my immediate thought. I want to stay at this club, and no young whippersnapper from Manchester's taking my position. And they weren't just good players. These were top players. You knew straight away by seeing them. We heard watching them, and they trained us a few times, and you knew by their training session straight away that these are good players, and not just one or two.
Scholes into the corner.
They gradually get them in training with the first team, just a few training sessions basically to see how they can handle it really. And when they trained with the first team, you just knew that they were destined to be in the first team sooner rather than later.
It was obvious that these players were exceptional, and I think that happens in football. You get some little kid that just all of a sudden emerges through the youth team into the first team and takes someone's place. That happens. That's a great thing about a football team. In this case, there were 6 or 7 of them, you know, half a dozen of them just poof, come through together. And when these players were knocking on the door, telling me it's time for them to go in, we did it.
The manager wouldn't have done what he did unless he believed in us, and that gives us the greatest faith that probably the most successful manager that we've ever had was breaking up a great side to make way for us, and that's something that gives you an unbelievable amount of confidence.
I made the statement you can't win anything with kids when Ferguson played at 5 or 6 youngsters. 95-96 at Villa Park, and they could beat 3-1. And it was a one-off, and unfortunately it was me who got it wrong. I thought it was a good line, you can't win anything with kids. Unfortunately, I didn't realise how good the kids were at the time, and they won a double. There's never been another side since, I don't think there will be, that you can play 6 kids under the age of 21 and then win the Premiership.
The manager called me in one day to his office. We were talking about something. He said to me, he says, I'm thinking of staying. And he was laughing, and I sat there laughing. So as soon as he said, I'm thinking of staying, I knew he was staying. When you have that in your blood, I think it's hard to give up. Imagine the manager being, I'm thinking at Leopardstown on a horse meeting, and it comes through that Manchester United are 2-0 down or somewhere. I'm sure it would probably just hurt him too much. And he just bought 2 or 3 new players as well, and the fact that we hadn't won a trophy as well last year, I think he was thinking, I'm not going to leave on a low point, you know, even though it wasn't obviously at the end of the season, but I'm sure he was thinking, maybe it doesn't look like we're going to win something, so he's like, I'll make sure I want to leave on a high.
Today we're very proud to announce that we have managed to sign Roy Keane.
Any photographs of the actual deal?
Team done very well, but I think we could have done better. You know, we need to raise our standards, you know.
watched it many times, and he caught his feet in the turf and stumbled against Haaland without any use of the leg at all. Anyway, at the time, he played on. He played on for 2 or 3 minutes. Eventually came off, and after the game, Dave Fever, our physio at the time, said, "I fear the worst here." And we knew really that night there was a cruciate. You couldn't imagine being a good patient. No, you couldn't, because he loves to play, loves to train, and everything he does is done with energy. I explained to him the situation at the time, and I give some certain examples of the work is going to need to be done in terms of sacrifice. And he knew right away. He knew absolutely, that clearly in his mind, that this was going to be a long job. I also said to him at the time, we're not going to rush it. It would suit us fine to keep you out a year because you're young. And it was the best thing we did.
Mike's come on board the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I've done with him. Can't put the bloody collar on. Okay?
This is the first time I've done weights, not making excuses, but for about 4 or 5 weeks. And you soon lose it a little bit. Even general running, you know, going on the treadmill there, I'm not training out for a week or 2. It catches up with you.
Okay. Yeah, nothing on the hammer?
Hamstring's fine. Hamstring's coming on brilliant.
I probably learned a lot from my injury, you know, as I said before. I was out for about 9-10 months, and before that I think I took most things for granted, with football anyway. Then when I was out for a year, you know, it taught me a lot, you know, to probably enjoy it when I do get, if I get back. But I was always confident that, you know, I would be back, and it's proved to be, you know.
3. Come on, 2 more. Come on, Roy. Now, come on, dig deep, last one. Come on, 1 more. What you got? Come on, you have. 1 more. Come on. Oh, good lad. Well done. That'll do.
I think you could have done that.
I'll do what you mean.
Should have done that one.
When you see kids starting off getting injuries, you know, they're the ones you feel sorry for. Even now, you know, I'm nearly 31, and you know, hopefully another 3 or 4 years left. I was quite lucky to sign the contract when I did, you know. That brings me up to maybe 34, 35, because there's no doubt in my mind that will be it, you know, even if I make it that far. Because it takes its toll, and it catches up with you, no doubt about that.
We have asked you to come along today so that we may announce that Eric Cantona has indicated his wish to retire from football with immediate effect.
Ireland can forget the passports for another 4 years. They will not be going to the World Cup finals. Luke Nellis's goal stops them going to France '98.
How's Mick McCarthy feeling this evening? Well, whoever's feeling bad, I can tell you I'm feeling 10 times worse than that.
Hi Roy, how are you?
Not too bad.
That was a very impressive bit of training you had there at the AUL complex this afternoon.
Impressive, I wouldn't go that far. No, it was nice to be back, and it was enjoyable, yeah.
Yeah, you certainly were showing no signs of any recent cruciate ligament history.
No, that's in the past. I'm just looking forward to the future and hopefully helping Ireland qualify and doing well with United.
Speaking of United, they certainly missed you towards the end of their season.
Well, they'd done well when I first had the injury, but towards the end, I'd like to think I would have helped the team some way, but it wasn't to be. Arsenal done well, and but hopefully we can go a bit further this year in Europe as well, hopefully.
We started sluggish, and when you start sluggish, it's very hard to get back in the swing of things. Even though we did, to be fair, we went on a very good run, especially around the Christmas period.
Doesn't miss. 30 seconds on the clock. Roy Keane, goal. 5 for Manchester United.
How much for the 3? Well, knocked out for Christmas.
Keane is back to his very best. Talk about leading by example. Not by Williams, though, knew nothing about it. Keane back in. Van Nistelrooy! He can do no wrong.
We slid a bit, to be honest with you. I just think the damage was done. The damage was already done with the defeats. As I said, the 6 defeats, especially at home, which I keep saying, but it's a disaster to lose 6. We've never done it, you know. We might lose the odd game here at home in the whole season. To lose 6 at home in the league, disaster. For the years, I think, when we have been winning the league, I think, as well as we've been playing, a lot of it was down to how poor the other teams were. But I think over the last few years, Liverpool and Arsenal have really improved. Leeds, even Chelsea, they've come on, to be fair. But now it's important that we step up another level, you know. And if we still had a bit of luck, I think we could have won the European Cup.
Roy Keane's down in.
I've had serious injuries before, and this is really not that serious when you look at it. It's just bad timing. They've got important games coming up, and I'm going to miss a lot of important matches.
Wretched away. Wasn't even able to hobble or even be carried.
A lot of goes through your mind, you know, especially there, and then you think end of the season. Obviously, we've got important matches at United, the World Cup coming up, and you think the worst, but a day or two, you know, you get back to being realistic and thinking it's a hamstring injury, but hopefully I'll be back for the last week or two of the season and the World Cup.
So Roy, where are we going? What are we doing?
Physio's room for just a little bit of light treatment, but my leg's getting a lot better, so I don't really need that much treatment now, just some work in the gym. So from the last 2 days, my hamstring's really settled down, so I'm really happy with it. Just very little treatment now, very little. It's called a physio. Rob! No physio, no treatment. Sorry, Rob, you okay? Yeah. Right, is that okay if you want me to turn it off?
No, you're okay.
I can sit up there down the gym. You know?
Yeah, well, you get something to
Honestly, I was thinking 3 or 4 weeks, simple as that. And if I get fit, I get fit. But you have to be honest with it. If you're not right, you're not right. And I'm looking to jog on Monday. Now, there's a big difference between jogging and sprinting and turning and kicking a football. I'm still relaxed about it and thinking hopefully Monday to Friday get a good bit of jogging in, and maybe the following week maybe do a little bit more. But to be fair, I'm lucky again. The medical people at United are brilliant. They know when to push in, they know when to say have a day off, you know.
Get down here,
yeah. How is it?
Yeah, it feels a lot better. Yeah. Had me wrecking last night.
Yeah. I've injured my hamstring before, and I was out for a fair few weeks with that, but this was a proper tear, you know. But again, if you kind of remain positive when you are injured, I think it speeds it up. And I've done what the medical people have taught me. I've had plenty of rest, plenty of sleep. I think sleep's important, believe it or not, in your recovery. Whereas a few years ago, when you are injured, you've probably done stuff you shouldn't be doing, you know.
You still got a bit of
I think probably United are more advanced than a lot of teams regarding the weights. Look at the training facilities, swimming pools, jacuzzis. Go and speak to the dietitian, the doctor. The last 4 or 5 years has really come on in leaps and bounds. And having said that, it's still up to the player to take it on board. You know, you can't force them to do weights or to use the swimming pool. It's up to themselves. And 80-90% of the footballers at United, to be fair, use the facilities, but you always get 1 or 2 who are stuck in their ways. I think sometimes you're not sure. You'd have a scan or an X-ray, but generally, I know my body quite well, you know, so I know when something's bad or it's not too bad. But as I said last week, it felt pretty bad, but the last 2 days, it's really settled down now. So obviously the medical people are looking after me, so I'm in good hands, you know. As you can gather, you know, it's pretty boring, you know, for me.
It's worse than me.
Sports to the physio, yeah. Obviously, this is a short-term injury. When you have a long-term injury, it can be bloody frustrating. But this is nothing, you know. This is nothing compared to what I've had before.
Come on, Jake. Come on, girl. I lost my temper. We were losing, I think it was 4-3 the last minute. But if you're going to get sent off, the worst thing is, I pushed him. If you're going to get sent off, you might as well punch him properly. Because you're going to get the same punishment. You might as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb. That's what I was thinking afterwards. It wasn't even, it was just a push. You know, ridiculous.
I was fed up and annoyed with myself. Especially after the match, the gaffer never really had a go at me after the match. And I knew that I knew by his body language. How much more Roy, you know what I mean? But, you know, I was more annoyed with myself than anything. And I saw him the next day and I said, I'd had enough, and I meant it. I came back that night and I waited, I didn't sleep a wink, and I spoke to Teresa when I got back. And she said, well, you're mad. And I said, well, I know that. And the next morning I went to see the gaffer, and then the Monday, I never would train the Monday or the Sunday, and he came on Monday afternoon, and we had a good chat. And he said, you'll miss it, and I was convinced I wouldn't. But I suppose deep, very deep down, I thought, of course I miss walking on Old Trafford. I love playing Old Trafford. I love playing for United, full stop.
All my sending offs have been stupid, really. But you pay for it, you know, the suspension's a killer.
Red card, Keane's off.
Please forgive me if I act a little strange.
It's just a blatant charge, and the referee's absolutely right to book it.
Feels like lightning running through my veins. Every time.
We've always decided that it's best that I keep the armband. I've offered to give it up loads of times, especially when I've been sent off. For daft things I've said, you know, give up the captaincy, and we've discussed it man to man, and it's always come back to, you know, give it another go.
Out here, all my words are falling short. And there's so much I want to say. Want to tell you just how.
When I do get into a rage, like on the pitch, I do feel myself going, you know what I mean? And even sometimes I'm on the outside looking at myself going, just leave it, it might be something daft, but that's the way I am.
When you look at me that way.
Durkin less than impressed with the challenge, despite a plea from Roy Keane, who he's going to be in trouble as well for something he said.
Some of the referees really get me nervous as well, to be fair to them, but I do think they have a bloody hard job. But some of them, I think, some of them walk around now as if, whereas referees before, a top referee he'd give his own performance by not being noticed. But It's the other way around now. They're referees strutting around, and you know damn well they're going to book you. I just know I'm going to be booked by certain referees.
Roy Keane on Haaland. David Ellery has a record of dismissing Roy Keane from the field of play. It's a red card issued by David Ellery to Manchester United's captain for the 4th time.
I got half a mind to die.
I've said it to Ellery before, and I think he sent me off 4 times, and probably deservedly so. And he's, you know, I've said to him before the game, I said, you might as well book me now in the tunnel, and let's just get it over with. I can't remember if he laughed or not.
I won't ever have to lie.
I still make mistakes like everybody else, and as I said, the pilot light is still on, and sometimes it's fueled up a little bit, but I try to keep it as quiet as I can, but like everybody else, I make mistakes.
Juventus game was probably our best performance ever. They were the best team in Europe. They were the ones that we were measuring ourselves against.
Well, I wasn't actually playing. I was in the stands watching. I'd got injured. So many of the team played well that night.
Now what's the referee going to do? It's a yellow card.
It was just a mistimed tackle.
Some players go under. Some players think, you know, I'm not getting in the final and start sulking. Look, you know, that's not Keane.
Roy, after 20-something minutes, knew he wasn't going to play in the final. But it wasn't going to stop him from playing his best game ever for Manchester United.
You know, never mind I'm missing the final. I'm going to make sure that this team goes through to the final. And the way he played that night, I think it was one of the probably great performances I've ever seen.
The importance of the occasion, getting to the final, put his suspension right in another field altogether. It was never going to be an issue. He was going to make sure we got to the final.
Roy Keane with a captain's goal for Manchester United. Game on!
The first goal in that game was the all-important goal, and it was a typical Keane goal.
The whole team played well, don't get me wrong. It wasn't a one-man show by any manner of means, but he was the man, the pivotal man in terms of changing the game round for us.
He literally went from strength to strength in the game, and that's why we got through to that final, because we had someone like that.
It was tinged with sadness slightly that, you know, you knew that two of his teammates were happy that they got us to the final, but that they weren't going to be part of it.
Manchester United's first ever win on Italian soil takes them back to the final.
We're all celebrating, we're all, you know, out on the pitch, then we walk in, and the first person I see when I walked in was Keane, you know, sat down on the bench, and to be honest, you know, he looked devastated, and, you know, rightly so.
There was a, how would you put it, was a distance from a normal elation of a triumph like that. I don't think we would have been in the final and have been for Roy.
You never realise it at the time because you're part of it, but you look back in years to come and you'll think what an amazing performance it was. But
it embarrasses me when people say that, you know, Roy, you got to the final, you're going to miss out and stuff. Just think if I played on my own, I would have got to the final. No chance. It was a good team effort throughout the whole campaign. I've had my nights out, you know, and my crack with the lads and my holidays with the lads, and I don't think I could handle a week away with a bunch of lads now, to be honest with you. This is nice to come away and switch off. Well, I have quite a laugh with when the lads tell me what, you know, their antics, what they get up to, but I've been there and I've done it, and good luck to them. I generally enjoy the lads' crack. You know, when we get back next week, a few of the lads would have been away with their own mates, and they're like, some great stories. Mine would be pretty straightforward stories, you know, a quiet meal here and there, but as I said, I've been there and done it, and you know, I wouldn't change it. And I'm quite happy at the stage, the stage of my life I'm at. So good luck to him. I can be fairly rude to people when I'm with the children if they're annoying me, because I accept to a certain extent that's part of my job to sign autographs and be polite to people. But when I'm with my children, I tend to say, you know, back off a little bit. But some people do overstep the mark, and you know, I'm quick to tell them to say, you know, I'm with my family and give me a bit of breathing space. We try and live a low-key lifestyle. You know, we do avoid certain functions where there could be obviously press or photographers, because it's important that the kids live a normal life as possible. But as they get a bit older, like Shannon and Karen, who's 6 or 7, they're well aware of what's going on. They're not daft, you know, and you know, they go to Old Trafford and they've been to matches, and they see people coming up to me and asking autographs and stuff like this. And again, that's a part you have to accept. When you're playing for a big club, it is fairly hard, because the media are always looking for information, whether it be good or bad. And that's the downside of the job, of course. But again, you have to accept it, because the ups make up for the downs. Hey, Shannon, go and get our ring, please. It's up there. It's the other way.
Alex Ferguson arrived at Manchester's Bootle Street Police Station at 9:15 this morning, flanked by club security staff.
Sad after we won the league. And I got arrested on Monday, and the gaffer came on the Tuesday morning to get me. The life I was living, it was 100 miles an hour. You know, I couldn't have carried on that way. If we won, I celebrated. If we lost, drown me sorrows type of thing. You know, I had no balance to me life. But I'm definitely more relaxed. I've got a different outlook on life. You know, I'm not getting too spiritual, but you know what I mean. I'm getting more relaxed about things. Well, I'm trying to, but as I said, it won't stop me from losing me rag every now and then.
Almost 100,000 people here in the new camp this evening.
That night I wasn't part of it. I didn't play, did I? I don't know why people don't understand when I answer them and they say, "But you got the medal, but I didn't play." How can that be the same? It's not the same. I wasn't even sub. I wasn't in the squad. I was in the stand, a shirt and tie on. I think it took 13 games to get to the final. I played in all of them, but I missed the big one. I got a medal. They gave me a medal, but it doesn't mean anything to me, really. That means nothing to me. I remember going back to the dressing rooms and you kind of join in, but deep down you're saying, I don't want to be here, you know. I think it's just the most natural feelings in the world, you know. You're just on the edge looking in, and it's very hard. When we beat Blackrooney in the quarterfinals, everyone was up in the boat. But I was very worried about this German team. I really was. And people say, well, it's hindsight, it's easy. But at the time, people were writing them off. I just thought, you don't write the Germans off. You don't.
So why don't we take a look inside?
Ollie is human after all, and he's allowed to miss the odd goal. When you go on that pitch, of course, you're going to try and you expect to win, but I just had a funny feeling in my stomach with the Leverkusen.
Alex, what did you think of that scoreline, 2-2?
Well, I think it's a fair result. I think they were the better side in the second half. And although we had a fantastic chance at 2-1 from Saipan, the goalkeepers did a great save and straight up the park and equalised. So that's the kind of work you need in a semi-final.
Rousing atmosphere. Keane on towards Van Nistelrooy.
I still think you look at the chance we had over there and we 1-0 up.
Giggs, Keane is there. He stepped away from the keeper. It's Roy Keane. It's 1-0. Brilliantly taken goal by Oliver Nerville. Everybody's whistling above the referee. Now he does. Some things are just not meant to be. The high road home to Glasgow ends here for Sir Alex Ferguson.
You shouldn't be thinking ahead, but I thought Real Madrid, I fancied their chances so much against them. But you have to win the semi-final, of course, first, and disaster.
The name Roy Keane conjures up many sporting images. As the captain and keystone for both Manchester United and the Irish national team, his success has carried on a long tradition of Cork football and sporting achievement.
Been a funny all season, you know, from the start when the manager said he was retiring. And
a little bit more, just straight ahead. There we go.
That's it.
We'll start with our friend here, Roy Keane, who will come in and say to us, and then we move on to the other honorands to justify their existence here. Very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Fitzgerald. I'll keep it brief. I'm obviously pretty nervous. I'd just like to thank obviously the University of Ireland for giving me this honour. I feel quite embarrassed, to be honest, especially when you look at the other recipients, and I feel quite humble, but on the other hand I'm very proud to be here. I'd never thought I'd see the day of at UCC and up in Midfield, but it's a great honour for me and my family, and I'm glad they're here. And especially I'd like to thank obviously the UCC and the President, Professor Rickson, for nominating me for this award. And it is a great honour, and I'm very proud. And again, I'd like to say well done to the other recipients. It's a great day for me. I've had a disappointing few weeks with United. This has cheered me up a little bit, and you know, I'm glad to be here. As I said, it's a great honour for me and my family, and you know, I thank you all. Thank you. Well done.
This time it's for you.
Is this it now?
Right. And again, if you just find it, to put
yeah, sounds good.
Before us, is it?
I just go before you, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Been the benchmark for the rest of the teams over the last few years, but last year you have to give credit. Arsenal and Liverpool definitely passed us by, and I just think they were more hungry than us. You ask any sports people, I suppose, boxers, anything, you slacking off 1 or 2%, you're found out. I think we were found out last year. The hunger just wasn't there. After winning the treble, I read a few quotes from different players, and they said like at the time, oh, I don't care if I never win a trophy again. Oh, it doesn't matter now what happens. And you're thinking, it does, you know. It's next year, you know.
We're just not good enough, and you got to face the facts. The players give it their all, but we're just not good enough. And maybe it's time to move on. You know, maybe it's the end of the road for this team. I'm not sure.
Bayern Munich were better than us, but I think we were better than Leverkusen last year.
We are happy to announce that Manchester United have completed the purchase of one Sebastian Veron.
Alex, if you can look at Rude, look at Alex. That is great.
There was a lot of pressure on the new players, which was unfair. because when you come to the Premiership, it's very hard. Premiership, every game is a tough physical match. Towards the last week of the season, we still had a chance, you know, and we lost the home to Arsenal, and that was the final nail in the coffin. But as I said, we gave ourselves too much to do. To lose 6 league matches at home, it's just too much. I think we relied on maybe Varane or Vaughan or Rude to pull us out of the crap when we were in. And they did a number of times, especially Rude, who had an outstanding season. But we just weren't at the races. Captain Keane said once, if you reach for the moon and you miss, you know, you hit the stars, you know. And I think we just slackened off.
Not looking forward to the trip. It's going to be a long day for us, but I'm sure once we get over there we'll get set for the first match, and you know, we're all looking forward to it. The first night we got there was an evening meal, and Mick said about the training kit hadn't arrived. The training pitch wasn't as good as he thought, and as soon as Mick said that, I thought it must be bad. I couldn't believe it, I really couldn't. So I went to Mick's room that night, about half an hour later, and I said, I'm disappointed with it, and I left it at that. The Thursday afternoon, the storm clouds were gathering, I just knew it. Nobody had spoke to me, and I went for my meal at 6:30 on the Thursday, and I was told there was a meeting at 7:30, and Mick came in and I knew what it was about. Mick was the one who called it in front of everybody else, and said I turned my back on the players, questioning my loyalty to my country. I wasn't going to sit there and say, excuse me Mick, I think you're a little bit out of order. And I said to him at the meeting, I said, you're a liar. And I walked out of that room. And I walked out of my international career.
The Irish team manager Mick McCarthy has informed the FAI that following a team meeting today in Saipan that he has requested Roy Keane to leave the squad and return home.
I will not tolerate the level of abuse that was thrown at me, so I have sent him home.
When I went back to my room, my solicitor rang me. He said, oh, you're coming back? And I said, well, how do you know? And he said, well, there's been a press conference. And I said, no, there couldn't have been. I said, the meeting just finished about 15 minutes ago. It's been a press conference, I've just seen that in the news. And that really bugged me as well, you know.
And this is from the players. This is the players' statement. It reads, regrettably, the manner of Roy's behaviour have left the staff and players in no doubt that the interests of the squad are best served without Roy's presence.
Where is Roy Keane now? Is he still out in Saipan with the squad?
Physically, I don't know where he is, but I presume he's still in Saipan and arrangements will be made to take him home.
Roy, can you give us just one reaction being sent home from the World Cup?
Made my own arrangements to come back. FAI weren't really the most helpful, to be fair.
Can you give us any insight into what happened last night?
No.
Can you even tell us how you're feeling at the moment?
Feel very good. Clear conscience. And I'm happy to be going home. Happy to go home and see my family.
Any regrets at all?
No regrets.
Not even about playing in the World Cup?
There's more important things to worry about.
Do you think that Roy should apologise?
No, definitely not. He's nothing to apologise for.
Yeah, I think he's let himself down. I think in a couple of days he'll wake up and he'll wonder why he gave up the chance to play in the World Cup for Ireland.
He got us to the World Cup. McCarthy was there as a leader, but he's no leader now.
We're all very disappointed, you know, because at this stage he's let this country down, you know.
I think Roy Keane's been treated very badly in this. I don't condone what he said in his outburst, but I certainly think that, you know, Mick McCarthy's been a long time pro. He should be able to take a more reasonable stance in it.
Come back, Roy Keane.
I've been frustrated for many years now regarding with the Irish setup. I made a few points over there and a lot of people weren't happy with that, and ended up with an argument with the manager because I think the buck stops with the manager. I think it's his job to make sure things are right for the team, and it wasn't, and I said it, and there you have it. I'm in Portugal on my holidays. I couldn't believe we went to Saipan to train when the island doesn't have a football pitch. You tell me, what are we doing in Saipan without a football pitch? I know it was 2 weeks before the tournament, it was a time of relaxation, but barring injury, you need to train on a secure training ground. And of course, the first 1 or 2 days we picked up 1 or 2 injuries. It's as simple as that. The evidence is there. The Wednesday I spoke to 2 press lads who I have a bit of time for, 2 decent riders, I think, Tom Humphreys and Paul Kimmage. And I made my point to them that, you know, I was disappointed with certain things. And Thursday morning there was an interview gone in the Times, which I read myself, and it was fine. And Thursday night there was a meeting organised, and as soon as the meeting was called, Mick said, "Oh, certain people aren't happy with things," and I says, "You know, I'm not." Which I told him the other night in a private meeting anyway. And I said to him at the time, "Why can't we do this in private?" He says, "Well, you've made it public by your..." And he pulled out an interview from his back pocket, as if maybe to catch me off guard. And I said, "I've already read it, and I stand by what I say." It's 1 or 2 players sitting in a press conference saying, "Oh, we couldn't believe it," and these lads, you know, muppets. It's the only way I can describe them. To sit there and to say what they said about me, hypocrites, you know, these lads. Cowards. Cowards sums them up, and I mean that. I will not go back on that. Ambush, maybe. I wasn't going to sit there, and especially when Mick made the accusations about me, which seemed to have been swept under the carpet a little bit, about me faking injury. So for him to accuse me that was the biggest insult. I told him that he was wrong, and I didn't fake injury, and that I didn't respect him as a manager, as a person, or as a player. He said, "Well, if you don't respect me, you can't play for me." And I left the room, and it was over. I look at Real Madrid, they keep getting back to finals and they keep winning them. They've won it 9 times, we've won it twice, you know, and so why not? I've got 4 years contract left. I think I might be asking much to win it 4 times, but I'd like to try and win it a couple of times in the next 4 years. And I think that's realistic, you know, I'm not hoping we'll win a 4th, I think 2. I think we've got the players capable of doing it. But having said that, you look at the teams around, there's some fantastic teams. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, I think Arsenal, some outstanding teams there. But I'm running out of time.
Go on!
He's romancing you, enchanting his arm. He'll be here, smiling on time. He's romancing you, enchanting his arm. He'll be here, smiling on time. Roy's Keane, oh, Roy's Keane. Roy's Keane, oh, Roy's Keane. We've never seen a keener, a window cleaner. Back up the ladder, into each corner, dunking the chamois. Just think of the goodwill. The ladder's a planet, Roy is a star, and I am a satellite. but that's alright. He can hold a smile for as long as you require, even longer. He can hold a smile for as long as you require, even longer. Roy's Keane, oh, Roy's Keane. Roy's Keane, oh, Roy's Keane. We've never seen a keener window cleaner. Back up the ladder, into each corner, dunking the chamois. Just think of the goodwill. The ladder's a planet, Roy is a star, and I am a satellite. I will be satellite. Don't say you'll hold it steady, then you let it go. Don't say you'll hold it steady, then you let it go. Ooh, you're up the ladder, into each corner, foot in a bucket. We trust you to wreck it. Even when it's under your nose, well, you just can't see it, can ya? Well, it's here, right under your nose, and you just can't see it, can